In times of a natural disaster, most people look towards the government for assistance. However, citizens themselves play an important role in the preparation, response, and recovery from a natural disaster. Today, we will look at exactly what a citizen's responsibilities are and how those responsibilities can mitigate the devastating effects of a natural disaster. The first thing we should do is define exactly what a disaster is. A disaster is a sudden event, such as an accident or natural catastrophe, that causes great damage or loss of life. In the context of public emergency management, examples include hurricanes, earthquakes, tsunamis, tornadoes, blizzards, and other man-made disasters. It is very important to thoroughly prepare for a natural disaster. Preparing your home through shutters, tornado shelters, and anti-earthquake materials is an important preparation step. This allows your property to stand up in the face of natural disasters and can sometimes be the difference between life and death. Having an evacuation plan is also incredibly important. Sometimes a natural disaster is so severe, people need to evacuate the area. Knowing the exact route for evacuations is critical, as thousands, if not millions, of other people will be evacuating at the same time. Preparing necessary supplies in case of an emergency, such as water, food, first aid, and cash, is a necessary step in preparing for a natural disaster. Listening to all government announcements is important because news outlets will update citizens on the natural disaster with facts as opposed to rumors that may spread. Another important responsibility of citizens is their reaction to the disaster. The first thing people should do is check and make sure everyone is safe and healthy. Assuming everyone is safe and healthy, citizens should stay inside and don't venture out unless an emergency management official gives the all clear. Sometimes situations will be dangerous even after a disaster, and so it is better to stay inside unless you know it is to be safe. You should also stay tuned to the radio, TV, or whatever is working to hear important government announcements. The most important step is to not participate in looting and other lawlessness that sometimes occurs directly after a disaster. Looting and other lawlessness can make a bad situation become much worse. Finally, the recovery from a disaster is important in citizens' responsibilities. Helping your neighbor recover from the natural disaster is important and brings about a sense of community with all the affected people. Volunteering at local disaster relief centers is also a nice gesture if you have the time and capabilities. People should also remain patient and understand that government will do its best to make sure everyone returns to their normal lives as soon as possible. For citizens unaffected, consider donating money to help relief efforts if you can. A lot of times, the extra money can go a long way in recovering from a serious natural disaster.